Welcome back, YouTubers. This is going to be a review of Robot Spirits Figure 309, the GP00 Blossom Gundam. Now, this Gundam is kind of a odd duck in the GP series. It was never on screen, obviously, but it's also had a very confused history. The original story of this thing has gone through numerous reiterations. There's now a new finalized version that was created more recently, taking into account all the elements. But let me give you the rundown while I show you how to convert it. This version has a core block system, and to represent its unique core fighter design, it comes with a part to create it, but you have to decouple a bunch of the pieces. So while I tell you the story, I'm going to be transforming it into its full mode and showing off some of the features that it has with it. But just to give you the quick rundown now, of the core fighter, it's pretty good and I really like it. It's an interesting design and very unique. Anyway, so the story of the GP00 Blossom's story is the weird bit about it. You see, several different sources were originally credited as to what happened to this Gundam. The first was it was destroyed by enemy action. Another was a fault during its transformation into the core block, and it was trapped in ruins. And then finally some people said, oh, it was probably a combination of the two. Later, a story of its pilot, Jack Bayard, I believe it is, I don't remember it exactly, basically saying that it was the combined story that we had gotten. Basically, his mech had been dispatched to a attack on a lunar facility, and the prototype had not been properly tuned and tested. This piece comes off here. Because of this, when he went into combat, his mech was quite easily shot down and destroyed. Though he did manage to fight back, it was pretty much a complete wash, and the mech was damaged and disabled. He did retrieve the combat data, but the mech was being not salvageable, means that since it's a prototype, they decided to skip over it and build more. The reason for this is this unit suffers from an old problem with a lot of designs that you see, especially when it comes to things that fans create. Overkill. You see, this thing has a little of everything. It has a core block system that turns it into, as you saw, kind of a super core fighter. It has a huge gun, as you can see here. It's got a radar dish, which can scan and transmit Minovsky particles and such. Basically, it's got everything loaded into it. Because it has everything, it doesn't do any one thing particularly well, being its downfall. It's basically someone trying to put 20 pounds of equipment onto a frame that can only take 10 pounds, or the equivalent of such. It basically is an overloaded frame with way too much going on. Now, as you might have noticed from the picture here, you can have energy blasts coming out of these little shoulder mounts, but these things are also your beam sabers. They're a little tricky to pull out. There. It doesn't have a shield, which is a Gundam staple, so I'm kind of surprised, but not having a shield isn't a deal killer for me. It comes with its standard suite of hands and an extra V-fin, plus, as you saw, this little clip-on part to get it on and off. It's also got a pair of thrusters, so you can put more in, and as you can see, it has a ton of thrust ports on its body. The main purpose of the Blossom is to have high maneuverability, so lots of control ports. It also has this massive beam cannon, which is on a pivot joint here, so you can do it one-armed, and it'll actually support itself fairly well. I put it with the beam pointing out, and it didn't even drop a little, so the frame is pretty solid with both the arm and that supporting it, plus this neat little joint piece for the elbow. But yeah, and it's got the little extra blast effect here, so I like to use that one. Personally, I really like this one. It's kind of sad it never got used in a series, and that its whole history is basically an unfinished prototype full of flaws and glitches. The thing that they always say is that the unique item, this radar dish, doesn't work properly most of the time. But it's one of those things where I kind of wonder what would have happened if it had been used. Like they had refined it a bit more. But with this one's failure, all the other GP series units were created, each one deciding to basically split off the different ideas and concepts, simplify it, and make multiple units instead of just one unit loaded down with way too much equipment. It also has the standard swinging beam saber piece, so let's put that in too. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Anyway, that'll be all for now. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and share this video. And I'll see you guys on my next video. Ciao.